Welcome back to the Mind and Money podcast. I'm Val, a financial planner.
I'm Sherry, a financial coach, and today we're leaning into a topic we're calling Fuck the Social Norms, because the social norms and expectations for so many of us keep us stuck, keep us shoved inside a little box, especially for folks with ADHD, especially for ADHDers that are entrepreneurs, because there's these social norms that we see and we feel pressure to adhere to. And throughout my journey as an entrepreneur, breaking free of those has actually, every time I've done something to kind of unlock one of the social norms or push past it, it's really helped me see the next level in my business, because social media puts so much pressure on us to be a certain way, do certain things, show up a certain way. And that really leads to more spending, more life dissatisfaction, and a financial stress. Like, it's just a whole thing. I can't think of a good analogy for it right now.
And I will say, like, this also comes in a way of like social norms, generational norms. And that's what has been coming up more for me with my clients lately is, yes, so social norms, but then also generational norms. So like parents thinking that, well, we did it this way, so you should do it this way. So applying pressure largely around a recent theme has been owning real estate, but those clients are not against owning real estate. They just don't know where they want their roots to be yet. So it's been very interesting to go deeper on that, like, but why? But why do you want to own real estate? And when we got down to the core of a lot of it is because my parents want me to, or my parents think I should. It's a good investment. And none of those are wrong, but they might not be right for you.
Yeah. It's really trying to take time to step back and quiet the noise of the external sources, social media, loved ones, and think about, what do you want your life to look like? And how can you get there? What steps can you start to take today to get there? And society shows us new cars, big homes, open kitchens that are all white and clean. And like, that's something to strive for. And if you want that, of course, pursue it. But it's okay to want to be a nomad and not have roots, and not want to have children, and not want to pursue post-secondary education, and not have a traditional job. And if you are an entrepreneur, to be your own person, be authentic, let your weird out. Like, there's just, what are you doing because you think you should, and what can you do instead?
Yes. And even evaluating, and those have been shifting for some time, but I think more now than ever is the getting married, the having kids. Do I want this? Is this for me? Right? Like, what do I want my life to look like? So not the should, but digging below that and being like, what do I want? What does that look like? And I think so often people around us, our environment, our upbringing, all of those things have a sway. So it's really a practice of listening in to yourself. Even as business owners, do I want to do it this way? Do I want to, like, you don't have to follow everyone else's blueprint. Even if they've been successful, that's great, but it might not be your success story.
Yeah, and there's things that we learn as we go through life, and it sounds ridiculous with where I am now and what I know. But when I got fired from my job in 2017, I did not know, it didn't register with me at all that you could be content and happy and fully satisfied and love what you do to earn income. It took me going on a trip that I had already paid for because I used to vacation to escape reality. But after I got fired, I had this trip booked. I got fired in the summer. This trip was in the fall, and it was to Peru, hiking the Inca Trail. And it was a group tour situation, so with a bunch of strangers. And it was where I first got my eyes opened. And I think part of that was that I was in a space where I could allow that information to soak into my brain, because I'd gone on trips like this before, and I'm sure there were indicators of that, but I had my blinders on, just head down, just be miserable until you retire.
Escaping. Yeah. Yes. Which is a great segue into like even the traditional retirement is changing. I was reading a couple articles on this, and right now I have 3 clients on what we're calling purposeful pause. So one quit a really high paying corporate job, the other one got let go, and the third one quit as well. But instead of rushing back into the industry, we're taking calculated adventures, is what I've been calling them,
Like that.
because we still have funds saved for long term. We have, like, one is working part-time as a barista and loving it, but they're traveling. They're doing some things that bring them joy. So whether that's like in the arts or in physical movement, they're taking the pause now. And a lot of their family events that they go to, they get questioned to heck, right? Like, so when are you going to get a real job? When are you going to stop wasting your money? Like all of these pieces. And I'm like there to reassure them that we're not doing something that is harming us. And if we don't take this time to be purposeful with it, then it and kind of spend it being like, I shouldn't be doing this, like feeling that guilt, then it's actually working against the progress that we're trying to make, which is exploring ourselves and the world and kind of putting extra pieces on that compass that is going to guide us through life. Where that sabbatical was so, like, I can remember a high school teacher that went on sabbatical because it was such a wild thing. She was going sailing around the world with her family, and it was just like, why, how, what? But those things are like, we're changing as humans, and it is definitely pushing on barriers that the generation above us is like, you're doing what? And often have a hard time being happy for us because they think they're doing what's best for us and protecting us. But with my clients anyways, it's like we're not just making decisions like, well, I'm going to quit this and see where the breeze takes me. There is a plan to it. But I think their perception is like, you're doing what? When you should be saving for a down payment. You should be, right, keeping that corporate job. So
kids these days just don't want to work. They're so lazy.
mm-hmm.
When you shift your perspective and when you are happy with your life, and happy's not so much the goal for me anymore. And I think the pursuit of happiness creates many challenges in our lives because yes, it's okay to pursue happiness, but happiness is an extreme. For me, the focus has more been on building a life of contentment and even level, calm, relaxing, dare I say boring, like because it's easy and
like
you're
simple.
not fluctuating between happy and miserable. It's easier to maintain, and when you're in the place of contentment, you are pulled less towards, well, I need to spend this. I need to get this thing. My house needs to look like this. You're more rooted in your decisions of, no, I don't need to spend on that because it's not something I want for my life. Or, yes, I want to spend on this because it leans into what I'm trying to build the life around. So it's just thinking about your slowing down.
The communication between your actions and your internal knowing is clearer when you have that slowed down piece instead of being, this is going to make me happy, so I'm going to do this because if I buy this, I'll be happy. But then the message didn't come through. That was more ego being like, do it. This will help. But your true self is like, I'm quite content right now. Like, let's look at what we have.
Yep.
So when it comes to our finances and social norms, those can be hugely impacted and very foundational pieces can occur, right? Like we talked about an episode with financing vehicles and, oh my gosh, I need a truck because my buddies have a truck and the odd time I might put my hockey bag in there. So I need that truck, right? But how it impacts us is that ripple effect. Do we really need it? Like what's a wiser decision to make? And trying not to keep up with social media. We often see the best of the best on there. So not knowing that their backstory, or like, how can they do this? How can they go on vacation? And I had a client that was having that struggle. She's like, we work the same jobs, different family situations, but how are they doing this? And how are they doing that? And I said, I don't know their numbers, but often when we have these comparison situations, this client A was also mortgage free and they were very debt adverse. So like, we don't know what debts they have, what credit cards or lines of credit or Or maybe they don't, but we don't know that. We just love to judge what we can see and be like, why don't I have that? Why can't I have that? Or I'm going to go and get that.
Yeah.
But is it really for us?
Yeah, I just need to get this next thing, get to this next income level, get this next promotion. We're always striving, seek a specific status or level of happiness where it's always that reach. Whereas I just see contentment as this is where I am, and practicing gratitude and taking time to slow down and appreciate what you have and how far you've come instead of, okay, well, I just hit this figure in my business this month and next month I want to get more. Having less, being happy with what you have. And when I compared, yes, getting fired significantly impacted my spending and what our whole financial health. But then even as I started to grow my business and earn a consistent salary from, I didn't immediately go back to the level of spending we were at before because all of those things that happened, first it forced the shift to spend less, but then it's like, wait a minute, I don't feel the need to spend as much because I'm not working a high stress job. Or it's like, if you just have more of what you want in your life, if you focus on building the life that you want, you're going to feel less pull to spend. And also like having permission to spend in a lot of cases makes you feel less tempted to spend too. So including money in your budget with the systems you have that's just for you to spend on chasing dopamine, then it's like, oh, well, I can. So then I don't feel pulled to. There's so many interesting strategies, but I think the best overarching step to look at if you're just trying to make the shift from striving for happiness, keeping up with the Joneses to wanting to be content is take a step back and take a journal or a notebook and sit under a tree and have some quiet time to think about in a year, in 5 years, what do I want my life to look like without any expectations or preconceived notions. And that can often be quite eye-opening because you're working towards something. And a client shared a story with me recently, and I think I have it scheduled to go out on a social media post where there was this fisherman and it was like early afternoon and he was packing up his boat. He'd caught what he wanted to catch for the day. And this business person came around and said, like, what are you doing? Well, I'm packing up. I've caught what I need to catch for the day to meet my needs. I'm going to go spend time with my family. And the business person was like, I can help you grow this. You can hire staff. You can have more boats. You can do this. You can do this. And then you can have more money. And then you can sell your business down the road. And that can help you have more money in the future. And then the fisherman was like, well, but then what? Well, then you can slow down and spend more time with your family and enjoy your life. It feels like a lot of us are running towards the finish line when we could just design our lives to be more like the finish line we're striving for. And yes, things are costly these days, and we can't all just up and quit our jobs, but there's ways that we can make shifts to our spending that impacts the pressure we have on our income.
Less of living for a means to an end of when I get here, I'll be like this. And often when we do accomplish something, then we're so focused on the next thing that we're not actually taking the grace and space to just be, I did this. This feels good. Like to enjoy that moment before being like, okay, I got this done. And next is this. So those social norms, again, stay in your own lane. Take that time to reflect on what you want your life to look like. And if you do have those wants and desires, ask the question, but why? But why? And see, does it go down to your core or is it someone else's piece that has been layered onto you? And you're like, oh, actually, like I had a client that was like, I need to own real estate. I need to invest in real estate. And I'm coming back to that one again. This was a different client in Montreal. Then I said, we went through it. Do you want to be a landlord? Do you want to be this and this and this? And it was like, no, none of those things. But my parents want me to own real estate. So the but why help them back out, go deeper, but then also back out big picture and be like, that's not what I want.
Well, and I used to think that we should do is buy real estate, get rental income, quote unquote passive income. And then through our experience of renting out our cottage, I'm just like, that's a no for me. There's too much stress. I'm worried about what are people doing to the property? What if they're harming it? It's not within my control. And there's so many things, you're right, that we should want to do this because that's what the experts say to do. But yeah, I love that.
Yes.
But why?
But why?
That's a really good one to think about in every situation in life.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So really, and we didn't talk about, maybe this is one we'll talk about more focused in later, but really fuck the social norms in your life when it comes to spending your money, when it comes to running your business, show up how you want to show up, do things unapologetically. And I think some of this comes from getting older. I feel like every year I get older, I give fewer shits about what other people think, but it's easier said than done. But when you start to do it, you
For
realize
sure.
that nobody really cares as much as you think they're going to care. And maybe there'll be haters,
Yes.
but those haters, chances are you wouldn't take advice from
A
them,
lot
so
on.
don't take hate from them. So cheers to giving fewer shits about what other people think and doing what you want to do and building the life that you want. So that is it for today. Thank you for being here on the Mind and Money podcast, and we can't wait to see you next time.